website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Ear training, another thing that we like to put in a box and then make it something for itself, like it had nothing to do with music. It becomes a discipline, like a discipline for itself. Can you hear what this interval is? Can you hear what this is? Right? And then you train yourself, and you have little apps on your phone, and you can train yourself to say, okay, that's a tritone, that's a fifth, that's a sixth, and so on, right? And it really comes from classical music often, where we really like, because that's part of the academia, right? The old school, the universities. And we like to come up with disciplines that we can learn, and then we forget that that's kind of detached from what we really want to do, which is play music. But it's okay. It's just you have fun. You create games like, can you do this? Can you do that? But what I really like to focus on when it comes to ear training is, what's the application? When do I need that, right? So whenever I have studied ear training, it's always been because I had a specific need to learn it in order for me to be able to do something, right? And that's where you really learn the fastest. And I'm not talking twice as fast. I'm talking 50, 100 times faster, because it's instant. Right? Once you learn something that's really important to you because that's something you really want to do, then it just attaches itself instantly in your whole mind and body, and there's no unlearning it afterwards, really. So when was ear training really the most important for me? Well, it was when it came to improvising and playing solos, because I was really annoyed about the fact that sometimes I couldn't find the right note that sounded good. And that problem really occurred when I started using the diatonic scale, which is just another word for the major scale, the minor scale. You know, that scale with 7 notes in it. Right? And once I started using that, then I suddenly had more than the 5 notes of the pentatonic scale. Because let's just say we're improvising over an A minor, right? That's the only chord in the background. Right? And I can use the pentatonic scale. But at some point I grew a little bit tired of that sound. My sister told me once I was practicing guitar, she just opened the door, what were we like, 16, 17. She said, everything you play sounds the same, she said. And I knew right at the moment she said that, that's because I'm always using... And I love that sound today, and I loved it then, but I wanted something more. And so I started using the diatonic scale. Right? And when I forgot, in the beginning, I wasn't able to combine 2 scales and put them on top of each other, go in and out of pentatonic to diatonic. So I had to use my ear. I was just playing in the diatonic scale, and I tried to find the notes that sounded good over that A minor. And I came up with a little system, which is the system I'm going to give you now, of ear training with relation to soloing. So what I did was, I looked at it and said, okay, if we take 2 strings and have 3 notes per string, then we come up with 7 different 6-note shapes. Let me just do one of them. If you have the C major scale right there, and you start on the B string, you find that if you play 3 notes up from the 8th fret on the B string, you come up with these 3 notes, which is 8, 10, and 12, and then 3 notes on the next string. If you have to play the scale up note for note, 6 notes, then you come up with the same frets, the 8th, the 10th, and the 12th fret on the high E string. Right, that's one of the 6-note shapes. Then you have another one, which is 10, 12, and 13. You have a third one, which is 12, 13, and 15. And of course, when if you change the scale and just push it around and make it a G major scale, then those 6-note shapes will be found in different places on the neck. But it's the same freaking 7 6-note shapes. So my thought was, if I can learn to just, let's say we use this shape, right? 8, 10, 12 on both the B and E string. And if I can learn to play over any of the 7 chords within that C major scale, playing in the background, and I can learn to hit the cool notes, then I can learn, to really use that scale without thinking about it, without having to know what chords are in the background. But then I went a little step further and said, if I can predict within that shape, please stay with me now, if I can predict auditorily how the next note is going to sound, that is, for instance, if I have a C major chord in the background, and I can la da 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 da, right? If I can play as I'm singing now, predicting how that next note is going to sound, da 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 da, la da da. If I can do that with my fingers on the guitar, then I can, I will know before I put my finger in a specific fret, I will know how that note sounds. So I'm never playing a wrong note again, right? So how do you practice that? Well, you simply, without any chord in the background, you start singing as you're playing, but only within one of the 7 6-note shapes. And I recommend that you stay in one shape for as long as a week and practice only that shape, maybe 2 weeks, right? Or just 1 week. That's it. And you play around with the different intervals and you improvise. I can't improvise. Just play random stuff within that 6-note shape. You can do that, right? Na da. And then, okay, I have this movement from the bottom note on the B string to the middle note on the high E string. Ba da da da. And I try to sing that. Boom ba ba ba. Let me boom ba boo boom ba doo boom ba doo doo da. Yeah. Dee doo 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 da doo doo da da dee dee boo dee boo ba ba bee. Right? Then you don't have to be able to sing. As long as it sounds right in your head, then that's okay. Don't have an audience for this. This is not important. And then suddenly you can start. Ba da 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 do do dee do do dee dee da boo ba dee do dee dee do 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 da do do da dee boo ba ba dee dee do 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 da na dee do da dee do da dee do da dee dee do dee boo boo dee dee, right? And then suddenly you're actually playing and singing at the same time. And you can do that in the blues scale as well. Right? But the key is to take one 6-note shape. And the cool thing is, what happens in your brain is that the shape and how you move your fingers, the different intervals, which you don't know what those intervals are on a conceptual level. You're not thinking, oh, this is a 6th, this is a 7th, or this is a, you're not thinking like that. You're just seeing, playing, and singing. So your brain gets used to, once you have that, your brain simply gets used to how the notes sound in that shape. So it connects the dots if you do this every day for a week. And suddenly, you can, because you hear the chords in the background. Let me I'm just going to play 3 chords from the C major scale. And suddenly you're able to because you're basically singing, you're improvising singing, but that's what you do on the guitar as well, because you know how the note sounds before you even hit it. I hope that makes sense. But you have to stay within each shape for an extended period of time to make this happen. So after a week, you pick another shape. And then you do the same thing there. Okay. then suddenly you have that freedom to just play, and this melodic ability to just, pick the notes. You don't know anything about arpeggios, intervals, nothing. It's ear training, and it's one of the most effective ways I've found to really develop the skill, because you're working on the actual skill as you do it, instead of trying to, okay, what's this interval, right? And name it conceptually. So have fun with it. Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.